So I opened my Twitter today in order to find the most nefarious accusation, something so horrifying that would have made me drop my friendship with Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad. You see, he is accused of sponsoring Raid Shadow Legends. Oh my goodness. Now, if that wasn't enough, you see, it's not about sponsoring a phone game that's the issue. No. It's the connections to Israel that's the problem. It's the connections to Mossad. Like, don't you understand that our Palestinians suffering right now because Carl Benjamin has promoted Raid Shadow Legends, that video game that just brings murder and death into the world. And this accusation is made by UNN. I've never heard about them, but apparently they have like almost 100,000 followers. Official Twitter, UK's only fully interactive news channel, right? So like they dug research, they went like this innocent, harmless video game. It's a money laundering machine. Where is the money going? To Israel, to Benjamin Netanyahu to fuel his war machine. And who is promoting it? Carl Benjamin. And they made a couple of interesting pictures. Apparently, Carl isn't the only one, right? Because when you think of Lotus Eaters, you're also thinking of Raid Shadow Legends. But Count Dankula also promoted it. Apparently, Imagine His Shock promoted it. However, Carl is coming out and he is saying, look, I've never promoted it. And I generally think he didn't. Like, I can't remember a single time of him promoting it. And he's saying that this is a lie, right? And they're like, what's the lie? They're investigating, not accusing. The word games, right? So it's like, oh, you're investigated of promoting the game. We're not saying you have. But we have reasonable suspicions enough to start an investigation. So Carl is saying it has been brought to our attention that on your YouTube channel, you have promoted the role-playing game Raid Shadow Legends. And Carl is saying that this is the actual allegation. And so UNN has clarified that Carl Benjamin replies to the accusation by saying, I have never done a sponsorship for Raid Shadow Legends. Like, look, I do not sponsor the conflict in Gaza. I am clean. I do not take money from Israel to promote video games, right? Like, Israeli video games can promote themselves without my help. This is Twitter, by the way. I'm not kidding. Like, there are actual people on Twitter that are, like, incredibly morally concerned. It's like, but have you promoted the video game? Are you with us or are you against us? Because if you have promoted the game, you are against us. And UNN says, we asked the question, we published your answer as we said you would. Look at the content you produce, casting aspersions all the time. The slightest bit of critique, and you demand an apology. Then your team threatens legal action. You know, I like to separate the world between good and bad. I don't know, like, if Carl has sinned or not. Well, in this case, it's not Carl, right? It's the Lotus Eaters, if they sinned or not. The only way I know is to look at the world through friend or foe, right? Like, the Carl Schmidt aspiration, friend or foe. What do they think about anime? Like, I want to know what UNN thinks about anime and what Carl thinks about anime, and then I will cast my moral judgment. And my moral judgment is absolute. Like, if you say the wrong thing, I will be so disgusted with you, so abhorred that I will never support you ever again. But Carl responds by saying that you didn't ask a question, you just admitted you made an accusation. Casting aspirations is fine. But don't you think it ought to be grounded in something the person has actually done? You haven't provided any critique, made false allegation. We aren't making false allegations, blah, blah, blah. And apparently they're saying that Sargon of Akkad, also known as Carl Benjamin, replies to our accusation around the plarium saying that he has never blah. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Like this idea that if you buy a video game, you're supporting death and murder has been tried before with the conflict in Ukraine, right? Like, if you buy, what was it, Pathfinder, Wrath of Righteous, you're supporting the Russians. And so, in order for me to sleep well at night, knowing that I have purchased Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, I've also purchased Stalker, right? Which is a Ukrainian game. And therefore, if I buy a Russian game and if I buy a Ukrainian game, I think that, like, there's a balance in the universe. And so, like, my money, it goes on buying a tank on one side and a tank on the other. And as they're fighting, they're like, canceling each other out. Fucking hell. By the way, like, this whole YouTube sponsorship thing, it doesn't really work like that. Like, you're not getting contacted by a company and they tell you, oh, we're going to promote a video game. We are actually from Israel, and we pay taxes to the Israeli government. So, like, if you buy our game, you support everything that Israel does, right? So, like, please don't be an anti-Semite and buy our shit. Like that argument doesn't work, right? Like, if they were trying to sell themselves like that, it wouldn't work. Why do you think the opposite works? Like, I would understand if there was, like, some sort of think tank or some sort of, like, organization like Tim Pool went, like, it was a Russian think tank and he actually took money from that. Like, that's a different thing, right? But supporting Raid Shadow Legends, if anything, it's a meme. And the fact that you're supporting that game, that's the problem. Cause it's a predatory game, right? Like, it's a phone game that does microtransactions and shit, and it's also a bad game because, like, what they advertise and what's in the game are two different things. But, like, okay, fine. The way it works, and I think, like, Arch Warhammer supported Raid Shadow Legends. Go after him, UNN. I just threw Arch under the bus. He's probably going to hate me now. But like, you get money. Like, I would support Raid Shadow Legends without any shame. Like, absolutely. I don't care if it comes from Israel, from Russia, or whatever the fuck, right? Like, if Raid Shadow Legends were to pay me, I would just do it to spy these people. Like, I have never promoted anything on my channel ever, but I would promote Raid Shadow Legends. Please contact me. I'm not kidding. I will promote you. Just because I know I upset people, right? So, like, if I upset people, it makes me happy. The more people I upset, the more happy I am. The more people I offend, the better I sleep at night. And so, like, Raid Shadow Legends, they just contact you through email, and they say, okay, if you promote our game, you're going to get, I don't fucking know, like, let's say $200 per promotion, right? And that's pretty much it, right? Like, people look at the game, they judge it, they think if it's a good game or not, and then they promote it. Up until now, I've never promoted it, but now I wanna. Now I legitimately wanna promote it. How do I get it? Like, do I get in contact with them? Do I need a manager? How do I do it? Fuck it, I'll do it for free. Well, how is it? Like, do I need to show a clip? Like, isn't UNN promoting Raid Shadow Legends by making these articles, by the way, huh? Cause, like, they're name dropping the game. Like, if you think the game is so bad, right? Like, by tying it to popular streamers and then tying it to this controversy, like, don't you think people who disagree with you may just install the game? I'm just saying, it's just weird. Anyway, right, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.